Hey, g'day legends, it's your old mate Jimmy here from NFL Australia and of course, Jim Does SuperCoach for our final NFL Supercoach position preview. And I'll tell you what, this one is kind of interesting. It's kickers, who are people too, contrary to popular opinion, and defense special teams. That's right, the two ones at the bottom where there's not a giant amount of differentiation, but you have to pay attention, right? So you think about kickers, you think about the defense and special teams. There's some really big, obvious names out there you probably want on your Supercoach squad. If you're looking to maybe save a little bit of coin, you probably can here just because of the week-to-week fluctuations and basically how it averages out across the end of the season basically means in your top 10 in these two positions, there's not a giant amount of difference. And week to week, you might be able just to sort of hit the nail on the head with different picks almost each week, right? It's called streaming. That's what we do, right? So you think about the kickers this year, and there's some very obvious names at the top. Brandon Aubrey, Chris Boswell, they were the biggest Supercoach scorers last year, right? They were split by 2 points. The thing is, across basically the top 10 of all the kickers in an average per game in their points, they were separated by about 5 points. So if you think about the top 5, they're only separated by about 2.5 points. So this difference between kicker to kicker to kicker to kicker is not gigantic, but you have to nail your selection. Essentially, I want you to look at the kickers on offer this year, figure out which one's going to be playing for a really high-powered offense, and then go from there. So you think about the kickers scoring system, about how we actually award the points for the kickers, and it's pretty straightforward, right? You have a field goal made between 0 and 39 yards, 6 points. A 40 to 49 yard field goal, that's 8 points. And you get 10 points for anything above 50 yards, and you get 2 points for a made extra point. So you want sort of this mix of a team that has a good offense, that's going to be putting you in a lot of scoring opportunities for your extra points, just to raise the floor of your scoring. But also, you want one that maybe just breaks down every so often, so your kicker can launch a 50-yarder and score you those extra 10 points, right? So you think about the kickers from last year who actually went out and did a good job of launching those 50-yarders, and it was very obviously the likes of Brandon Aubrey and Chris Boswell, who are the top two scorers from last year. But then the ones to keep an eye on are the likes of Kaimi Fairbairn, Jason Sanders, Dick the kicker for the Chargers as well, Jason Myers on the Seahawks. And a couple of that I want to keep an eye on this year. Chase McLaughlin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know that offense is going to be awesome. And the one that I'm fascinated by is Evan McPherson for the Bengals. We know the Bengals are going to be going all out in terms of the offense. The defense stinks. McPherson should have a lot of extra point opportunities this year. And you sort of feel like maybe if the passing game just breaks down every so often, how often are they running it? How close are they getting? It should be a lot of field goals too. So in terms of the actual field goals made, field goals attempted, those are the ones we should be looking at. Dallas with the perfect sort of storm last year. Brandon Aubrey attempted 47 field goals. 47! It's a lot. I think down to the end of the top 10, basically got Will Lutz and Josh Carty and co. They're basically launching 34 across the season. So think about Aubrey, that's a lot of opportunity to score you a lot of points, and the fact that he can kick at 50 yards. He's obviously the top prize kicker for a reason, because he can score a lot of points in your kicking position. Same goes for Boswell. He's got that big old leg of his. He kicked 13 50-plus yarders. Not as many 40 to 49 as Aubrey did last year, but in terms of just his scoring, he was right there with him because he was really accurate. That's a big thing too. So, look, I actually don't mind trying to save a hint of coin here when it comes to the kickers. Kaimi Fairbairn, maybe Chase McLaughlin, even Younghoe for the Atlanta Falcons, who I like. Look, their offense is pretty good. I don't know if it'll be great, and I feel like Younghoe has actually got a bit of upside where he's priced as well, and he's probably going to be my selection going into week one. Just to have a quick look at those kickers, I think he's going to be my selection purely because it saves me a little bit of coin that I can spend elsewhere. Now, for the defense and special teams, you got some big ones, obviously. Denver look awesome. Minnesota look fantastic. And last year, you talk about defense and special teams. How do they actually score? Well, obviously interceptions and like the big defensive plays really, really matter when it comes to Supercoach scoring. Sacks get you 2 points. Interceptions, 4 points. Fumble recovery, 4 points. A defensive touchdown, 12 points. Love that. You get 4 for a safety, 4 for a block kick, and then your points allowed basically go in, they go in a staggered rate. From if you allow 0 points in a game, you score 20, right? 1 to 6, it's 14. 7 to 13, it's 8. 14 to 20, it's 2. 21 to 27, it's 0. And then it gets into the minuses. You allow 35 plus points, you're scoring -8 with your defense and special teams. 28 to 34, it's -2. So obviously you want a tough defense that's not going to allow plenty of points, but also gives you lots of chances of, putting up big sack numbers, interception numbers. For me, a couple of the interesting ones there are very, very obviously the likes of Denver and, of course, the Minnesota Vikings. How about, could I interest you in maybe a Houston Texans? They're the 4th highest priced defense at the moment at 9.9 mil, just behind the 9.9 mil Green Bay Packers, who just added Micah Parsons. I'm interested in this Packers team for the simple fact, Parsons, huge sack numbers, we get that. Is the rest of the defense going to be that good? Probably. They were pretty good last year, but I don't mind that Houston Texans team. I think they're going to be an absolute handful. The Steelers are ranked 5th as well. They're probably my pick for week 1 because they're going to go up against this Jets team that I have absolutely no faith in. The Eagles are at 9.2 mil. You can't really go wrong with the Eagles. They do sometimes just get into shootouts though, and those safeties aren't very good. Basically, their secondary is a little bit suspect, so I'd probably steer clear of Philly. Buffalo, I kind of don't like their matchup in week 1 against Baltimore, so I'm probably going to lean on the Steelers. Keep an eye on Baltimore. They're priced at $8 million as well. Don't mind that. And how about a team with a bunch of upside for your bench? What about my beloved New England Patriots? New coach Mike Vrabel, and they spend a bunch of money in the offseason. They should be coming out absolutely gangbusters, playing against the Raiders in week 1, but I don't mind them as your bench defense special teams because it's going to make you a bunch of money, I reckon. Carolina's underrated as well. They're pretty suspect. They'll get into shootouts, but they are priced extremely cheap if you want a dirt cheap one there. But they might also lose you some cash. I'm just saying. The Raiders might be a little bit better too. They're ranked 29th at the moment. Maybe even the Niners at 24. Their corners are pretty inexperienced, so that secondary is maybe a little bit suspect, but I think they'll be a bit better than the 24th ranked defense. So there you go. Kickers, defense, special teams, very, very simple, right? Go matchup by matchup, see what you like. Look at the kickers on the really, really high-powered offenses, and with the defensive special teams, remember, sacks make you points, interceptions get you points, and basically you want to lock down D that won't allow too many points as well, and you'll be laughing. So if you look at those top 5, for week 1, I probably like the Steelers the most, but I do love the Texans a lot. Denver will be fantastic up against a rookie Cam Ward there in their game against Tennessee. Minnesota plays Chicago. I'm not as convinced about that one as well, but I really like the Steelers. So there you go. There's your kickers and defensive special teams previewed. We've got kickoff coming very, very, very shortly, so it's going to be very fun. So let us know who you like and jump across all of the socials for Jim Does Supercoach. Make sure you're subscribed everywhere. Get on NFL Australia as well. We'll get our week 1 preview, myself and Gaz. It's going to be awesome. This has been Jim Does Supercoach.